Welcome back to the Peptides for Women podcast. I'm Jennifer Woodward, and I am delighted to be here today with Nurse Jacquie Anderson. Jacquie is a registered nurse that's been specially trained in GLP-1s. Jackie's taking them herself, but she's also helping other women get access and education to GLP-1s and beyond. Her specialty is perimenopause and menopause, having lived with the repercussions of an early hysterectomy in her own life. She's married with a daughter and lives in Southern California, and she loves helping women in midlife transform. Jacquie, welcome to the Peptides for Women podcast.
Thank you, Jennifer. I am so happy to be here. Such an honor, such a pleasure.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. I was telling you a little bit before we hopped on. I found you on Instagram because my husband, Bo, told me, Jenny, nobody wants to hear you talk for 30 to 60 minutes every single week. You need to find guests on your show. So I went into Instagram and I typed in women's peptide experts. Lo and behold, Nurse Jacquie popped up. I reached out and asked you, will you come on the show? And you said yes immediately. It was so fun to get in contact with you and now get to look at your page and see how passionate you are in your pursuit of helping women in the peptide space. So give me a little bit of a background, because obviously as a nurse, you didn't start with peptides. So where did you start professionally?
Yeah, so it just kind of fell into my hands. As I was saying earlier, I started GLP-1 before it was popular, before it was trendy. I needed help and I did my research and I had access to it, very safe access, and had such success. And my job in person actually brought on GLP-1s. And that is where I learned everything that you can imagine about them. And being a woman myself, I knew that this was such a crucial thing to start educating women about and really getting the truth out there. And as the years went on, I feel like we have, unfortunately, there's been, I remember the early days, all of the headlines, right, of Ozempic face and, every side effect that you can imagine, right? Because in my experience, I think people were not using them properly. And so, because I've done this on my own, because I've been trained, it is my mission to get the word out that yes, this is such a helpful support. It's groundbreaking. It really is. And we gotta figure out a way to help women use these correctly and to give them the knowledge to where they are guided in the right direction and they're not scared to use them because so many women are.
Yeah, they're nervous because they don't
Yeah,
have the information or they've heard a lot of the propaganda like you were talking about.
absolutely.
And you've been using them for 3 years, clinically
Yeah.
trained on GLP-1s for 3 years. And in the grand scheme of peptides, that's like ancient, right? So
Right?
tell me some of
Seriously.
the things that you said you were doing research, you were learning about, the mechanism of action of these GLP-1s. What were some of the things you learned early on in your research that made you feel comfortable and safe using them in your own life?
I mean, it really helps to know that when doctors are surrounded by you, that they are using them too. I will never forget, Jennifer, this is literally the moment that I decided I was going to. I was working with a naturopath, which love naturopaths, right? Obviously, I'm a nurse, so I love both sides. I love the Eastern and the Western. I think they can be a great combination together. So I talked to my naturopath and he knew all my struggles. He would, tell me recommendations. And I will never forget, I asked him, I said, and again, this was just emerging. I said, I'm thinking about starting a GLP-1. And I said, and I was expecting him to say, mm-mm, no way, I was taking spironolactone for acne, cystic acne at the time, and he kind of shut me down on that. So I figured, oh, there's no way. There's no way he's gonna, but I thought I'm just gonna ask him. And he goes, oh yeah, I've been giving these to my patients for over 10 years now. And I was floored. And I said, okay. I said, that's amazing. And I was like, I'm gonna put him to the test. I'm going to ask him if he would put his family, and I know he would answer this honestly, if he would put his family member on one. And he said, absolutely. And I said, sold. So that's truly what did it for me is not some doctor telling me, oh yeah, get on it because they probably would think I would be crazy, right? But when he gave me that A-OK, and not only did he give me the A-OK, but he has been using them for 10 years, which we'll talk about later, the misconception of them just now coming out. That was it. That's all the research I needed. And so that's when I started. And
Hmm.
don't get me wrong, I've learned over these 3 years the right way and the wrong way to do it, not only from me personally doing it, but seeing other patients do it too, because there is, and we've talked about this, there's the good way and then there's the bad way. And so that's our job, right? Is to help women realize that there's a really good way to do this that can give you the results that we're all looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right. We do talk about that all the time on
I
the show,
know.
your foundations before injections. And so I assume that that's the same for you and your clients, things that you've learned about over the course of these 3 years. But for you, how did you start that journey? Did you start with semaglutide? Did you start
Yes.
with
Oh,
tirzepatide? What did your
I love
dosing
that.
look like? Did you have any
Yes.
side effects?
So I started, remember, this is in the early days. I started with semaglutide, just because that was the most affordable route. And to be honest, it wasn't, tirzepatide was not as common because
Hmm.
semaglutide was really like the first one, right?
Yep.
So I started with semaglutide. I had, and I did the normal standard dosing schedule that they recommend. The one thing that I will say, and I know you will agree with, is now we know, is that dosing does not have to be increased always.
Yeah.
So that's not really what they knew back then. They just were like, okay, this is the dosing schedule, and we're going to bump you up as long as you have no side effects. And it's kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so that's what I wish I would have known then because
Hmm.
I wasn't the expert and I was not under my own care. Somebody else was telling me to do it. So there was one moment, one instance I'll never forget. I was going, of course, it was right before I went on a trip and they upped my dose, and I was still fine. I was still losing weight with my I don't even remember what it was dose, and they upped it and not good. I
No bueno.
remember getting off the plane and I threw up for the first time, and it's only happened probably twice in my whole journey, but that's where you live and you learn, right? And
Hmm.
that's where I'm very careful to educate women. Listen, this is not a race. And to me, they pushed it for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great learning experience though. It really
Yep.
was. I'm glad that that did happen because that was a moment in my head is, you know what? No, let's keep it here. I am good. And I lost about 20 pounds on semaglutide. I was never overweight, but it was a struggle. I mean, I know exactly how to lose weight, what to do, and it wasn't coming off. So yeah, my original weight loss was semaglutide. Never got up to the highest dose. It was probably mid dose. And then that's when I found the amazing microdosing of tirzepatide. And I've been on that ever since. And I mean, I just don't even know if I'll ever stop. It's so amazing. And I tell women, and I know you get this, is, everybody always asks, well, do I have to be on this forever? That's a huge one, right?
Yep.
And so I always tell people, absolutely not. I treat this like it's a supplement because that's really what it is. And if it's going to make me feel better, then heck yeah, I'm going to stay on it. And there's ways to taper off. We know that. There's the right way and the wrong way to come off of it too. And it's absolutely possible. I think my example was perfect is here I lost those 20 pounds, and obviously I had to come down on that dose, right? I was mid-range semaglutide. So what did we do? We worked slowly to get me back down, right, to that starting point, and then started to microdose,
Ta-da.
right?
Yeah. I'm curious too a little bit about sorry, Najla, go back and take that out. I'm recording a podcast. I love you. Duh. Okay, we'll go back. Um, I'm curious too about the journey that got you to the point where you needed to go on semaglutide. We talked about your hysterectomy. You
Yes.
were in perimenopause. You were struggling with some of the symptoms. So walk us through that point in your life because so many women probably resonate with where you
Yes.
were at.
Yeah, I mean, it's like regardless of what I did, what I ate, I knew exactly what to do. It did not help. And honestly, this is the biggest thing for me. It was food noise and it was cravings. Right? This is when I say life changing, I cannot stress enough just on the food noise for me. Like it just I've never lived so contently with regarding food in my life, ever in my life. And it's not like, I'm not saying disorderly eating or anything. We're just talking about being a woman, and especially going through those changes hormonally, it is almost impossible to not think about food all the time. The cravings with our changes in hormones are insane, right? Insulin resistance, you name it. So that really was what I was experiencing. And I'll never forget again, in the early days when it just came out, trying to explain to my girlfriends, like, you guys, this is incredible. I was a sugar addict. I mean, I really was. And it just took it away. It took it away. And it's made eating healthy so much easier.
Mhm.
That's the thing, right? It's like, here we go again with the right way to do it. It makes healthy eating, it makes it fun, right? It's like
Yes,
you enjoy
yes.
it because you don't even feel like you're deprived anymore
Mhm.
because the cravings aren't there. The food noise is not there. So that to me, again, life changing. And I know so many women can
100%.
relate to this, you
I,
know?
yes, yes, it is such a common story. And honestly, for me, I thought it was unusual for me. I thought
Yep.
my food noise made
Yeah.
me different, made me abnormal. But the more people I have on the podcast, not
Especially
just
women.
women, but men, Dr.
Men
Jason
too.
Pensek said the
Yeah.
same thing. Dr. Dean
Yeah.
Jones said the same thing. I mean, these
Mhm.
are super fit guys, super
Yeah.
fit women in the space. And so
Yeah.
to know that struggling with food noise or, quote, sugar addiction is
Yes.
something that's more common than we think
Yeah.
makes it easier as a woman to ask for help. Like,
Well,
oh,
and mix that in with the physiological things, changes that are happening during perimenopause and
mhm,
menopause. It's impossible. I mean,
right.
it's kind of like it's very who does not have that problem? We all do. We all do. So that
Right.
was just amazing, amazing, a gift.
Let's talk a little bit about that. As a woman's nurse and hormone expert, what are some of those hormone changes that are happening for women in their late 30s, 40s, 50s that are
Oh my
leading
God.
to insulin resistance and increased food noise?
Estrogen. That
Mhm.
is the biggest one. Estrogen, estrogen. That can, oh my gosh, with insulin resistance, that's when we get our problems. Once gosh, I'd say 40 and up is when that estrogen starts really tanking. And when that happens, that's when all we really see these difficulties. I mean, you're talking brain fog, anxiety, believe it or not, is a big one. Then you're worried about food, right? So it's like boom, boom, everything's just going up. Cortisol, all of those things have such an impact on our hormones. And inflammation, like I could go on, but
Yeah.
estrogen is the biggest one. That
Mhm.
is the one when that starts declining, we are seeing so many struggles. And I'm not saying that peptides are going to replace estrogen. It absolutely is not. But it can help the symptoms that are associated with it. And that's why you and I also advocate on HRT, right? Because we're replacing what we're losing. So I always tell women, listen, I'm not saying that GLP-1s and peptides are the end all be all and the cure. They are not, but they are going to help when these hormonal changes do occur.
Yep,
You
100%.
know?
And we know that the literature tells us when your hormones are optimized, especially estrogen in midlife, GLP-1s tend to do their work a little bit better.
Yes. Yeah, because exactly everything's in place and everything it's serving its purpose.
Mhm.
And there are women that can't be on HRT, and I totally understand that. And this is even more of a support for them since they don't qualify for that and they can't
Mhm.
get on that, whether they have pre-existing conditions or cancer risk in their family. Then this is even better for them because they need even extra support than us women that do qualify. My estrogen patch I started taking after my hysterectomy, and it's helped amazing, both of those things. It's like I got my GLP-1s, microdosing, and then my estrogen, and it's like I'm a happy camper now because I was not, let me tell you. I,
Yes.
and that's why I do what I do. And this is why I started my account and helping women is because I went through it and
Mhm.
it was not fun, and we don't deserve to live life suffering. We really don't. Especially since
100%.
more evidence is coming out.
Mhm. Well, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. You said one of your most popular viral posts on
Yes.
Instagram is where you talked about how safe peptides are and how people have been using them for so long. I mean, we've seen that evolution when doctors in the clinic were using liraglutide, 20 years back. They were using semaglutide since 2008, obviously for type 2 diabetes, but that longevity piece is there, that safety piece is there.
Absolutely. That is
People,
long term.
yes, so
That's
tell
long
me,
term.
talk to me about
So
that.
when people say, in my post said, but what's going to happen in 10 years? Hello, that is it. Like nothing. Here we are. In fact, we only know more, right? I feel like every single day we're learning even more benefits with this. Dementia, heart health, like all the stuff, right? So that is a key piece of my education is helping women realize this is not new. This is not new. This is not a trend, right? This is something that has been around and it has been studied long term and it is proven to work. And again, if done correctly, right, then the the risks and the side effects truly can be low. But there's a caveat to that, and that's if it's done correctly and under proper guidance and, personalized support, which is also another important thing. We are not a one size fits all,
Mhm.
and Jennifer and I have the same provider, and we sought them out for a reason because they are not just going to hand us the medication. They are working with us, to make sure that it fits our needs and it's not a one size fits all. And I've
Mhm.
seen that firsthand where it's just okay, here you go. And I've been through it, right? They've done it. That's why I got sick that one time. So it's really a there needs to be it needs to be carefully handled.
Mhm. Yep.
And
Yep.
it's the studies are out there, and I don't think enough people do their research, right? And so again, that's our job is to say, hey, listen, we've done the research. The research is out there, here are the articles, and they've been around. And I think that post did so well because that was what everybody was thinking is what
Mhm.
is going to happen in 10 years,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I fooled them and I was like, nothing's going to happen in 10 years. We're already past that 10-year mark,
Yeah.
We're at the 20-year mark plus 20 plus years. So yeah, just because it's indicated for something different now doesn't, it's still the same medication and it's still the same effects that it has on the body. And
Yep.
granted, there's a small audience or small amount of people that aren't able to take it. There are, um, but for most of us, it's completely safe. I get questions every day like, "Oh, am I able to take this because of this?" And I always tell people I'm not the prescriber, but it's very rare. It's
Mhm.
very rare, right?
Mhm. Yep. And in fact, a lot of times, especially GLP-1s can work on different systems of the body to bring down inflammation. A lot of the chronic diseases that we're seeing in
Autoimmune
women, a
disorders.
lot of the autoimmune issues,
Mhm.
cardiovascular issues and neurological issues. The research is so encouraging how
Mhm.
it goes in and not only rewires the body, but the brain, the work it does on the hypothalamus. I mean, even food noise
Yes.
is a great,
Shopping, alcohol. I
yep.
mean,
Yes.
it's just crazy. And these are the things that are coming out that we're learning.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep. So
that
where are you going to be in 10 years? You're going to be wearing the same pair of jeans that you're
yeah,
wearing right now,
yeah,
happily in
yeah.
10 years.
I'm still not going to be suffering, is what I say
Mhm.
in 10
Yeah.
years,
Yep.
because I always, I try and not make aging negative, but the reality is it does get harder. It really does.
Yeah.
As women, there are a lot of things that change with us.
Mhm.
So let's try to make it less hard, please.
Yes, less painful.
Honestly.
I am all about it. Yes.
Right? I mean, we really do. We go through so much, from puberty to having babies and now this later stage in life. And there's so many changes and we truly deserve support. And I think women are they almost feel guilty about it, you
Mhm.
know? And that's where I'm trying to, it's like I always say this in my posts that we're just told to just suck it up and
Yeah.
suffer through it because that's what we've done for so many years. Especially, with the false studies with HRT and
Mhm.
stuff like
Yep.
that. And the negative narrative on GLP-1s, it's just suffer through it. You're cheating. No, no, no. No, it does not have to be like that.
It does not have to be like that. We
No.
are both very passionate about telling that to women. It is
Yeah.
not cheating. There is no
No.
shame
Oh,
associated with it. As one of my colleagues says, we're fighting the same war. We just have new tools. And the war for
yeah.
women, like you said, it's this, over stressing, over dieting, over
Oh,
exercising, under sleeping piece that got
oh,
us to this really rough perimenopause where we're trying to do everything: work,
I know.
raise families, take care of a
Seriously.
home, fit in our Lululemon pants. Like
Yeah.
the demands on women are crazy. They're not the same that they were a generation or two generations ago. And
Absolutely
so,
not.
you know,
Absolutely not.
if that's not the same, why can't we use something, a
Thank
little
you.
bit different, a little bit more progressive, just to make that? And really, this is what I tell my women, like, we're not trying to make your life easier. We know that you have people who depend on you. If you can't show up as a mom and a wife and a
Yeah.
business owner and a, philanthropist or an employee, it's going to be really hard for you to feel good about who you are as a woman. And so it's almost empowering you to do the things you need to do. And
Yeah.
I think if women look at it less of a selfish sort of thing and more of like a
Exactly.
selfless way to show up better in their life,
Absolutely.
becomes a little bit easier.
So that's such a good point. I mean, and I get this a lot as far as cost, right? Because this is a investment, I like to say, right? Because it's a monthly thing. But what it does for your every single day life is worth
Yep.
every penny, because it is so it affects everything. Like you just said, it literally affects everything from when I go out to eat with my family, the littlest things to
Yeah.
where I'm not thinking and stressing about food all day. Or, I mean, it's literally, there's no amount of money that could give me that. And now, of course, it's more affordable. There's ways to be able to afford it, but I think that's a big thing is the guilt, right? Of like,
Mhm.
oh, spending that money. But it gives back so much more than what it costs because
Agreed.
it just hits so many different points in our life.
Well, this is something too I talk about, my husband and I talk about, because it is an investment. It really is.
No,
And if two
it is.
people in the household are on peptides, holy moly,
Yeah.
that is definitely an
No,
investment.
that's
But
for
I
sure.
spend way less on supplements.
There
We
you
spend
go.
less on like eating out. We just aren't eating out as
Oh,
often. He's not
exactly.
buying as much wine. He loves wine,
Yep,
but he
there you
just
go.
can't drink as
No,
much anymore.
he doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it as much.
No.
He is a little bit dismayed that he's like, damn it, I just feel like
Yeah.
I don't even want a glass of wine anymore.
I
I'm like,
know. Yeah,
yay!
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay.
I'm proud of you, Bo.
Put
So,
some red dye in some water. No, not red dye. You know what I mean. I don't know.
beet
Some
juice.
beet juice. There you go. No, not red dye.
So we talked, Jackie,
Yeah.
about, what some of you said using a GLP-1, we want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. So
Yes.
tell me
Oh
from
my
a
goodness.
medical
Yeah.
professional side, what
Yes.
does the right way look like?
Yeah, this is huge. So, and I just had this conversation with one of my friends, and I knew she knew I, have a lot of experience with this, and she just got put on one, and she is overweight. And I said it in the nice way possible. And I try and tell my clients this is that there is a right way and there's a wrong way. And I don't want to make them afraid, but I also kind of want to instill fear in a good way by saying you need to change your habits, because if you don't and you're going to go on one, you're going to be in a worse spot than when you started,
Yeah.
because these women need to, I mean, the importance of strength training. It's just absolutely, it's a non-negotiable. If you are not lifting weights or doing some type of strength training, you need to start. Regardless of a GLP-1. I mean, honestly, in midlife, we have to. It is a non-negotiable. And that is not something where you have to force yourself to join a gym membership and completely change your life. I'm talking, this is as simple as watching TV and maybe YouTubing a quick strength training video. This is not something that you need to be intimidated about or feel like you have to be an expert. It is picking up weights, picking up something, decently heavy and just starting a little routine. That is so crucial. And so what I told her is I said, you need to start lifting weights and focus on, of course, your core foundation, your protein, your fiber, all that stuff. And so, I can't explain how important this is, because this is going to make it or break it with your results. We want to give women, we want this to end up in their favor, right? And I'm telling you, I probably have more muscle than I ever have, but that's because I've done it the right way.
Yeah.
And it really truly isn't hard. It isn't. It's prioritizing protein, right? We've got Pinterest, we've got all these things that can help us, figure out how we can incorporate protein. And then strength training. This is less our this phase in life, we want to do less of that, like hit cardio, work our booties off, right? Because that's just not, it's not what's going to benefit us now. It's going to
Mhm.
raise our cortisol, which is going to mess things up even more. We want to be like walking, and we want to be strength training. And again, it doesn't have to be what people think it is, because that's why they don't start. They're intimidated.
Yep. Or they think it's going to take a lot of time. Like
Yeah.
everyone's so overscheduled and so busy. They're like, how do
Um,
I add one more thing to my life? And
mm,
one thing I get from a lot of my girls is they're like, well, if I don't work out at 4:30 in the morning, it's not happening. And so they want to get up and do like a cardio workout at 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So w- give me a little advice for that kind of overachiever type of woman
yes.
to take down her stress response and get her best results from a GLP-1.
I mean, I'm a multitasking gal. That's what I'm saying. If you have the time, I mean, and I only have one child, but trust me, she takes up a lot of my day, and I want to carve out time for her specifically. So if I am watching TV or even watching TV with her, do something. Like I said, I mean, there's so much access we have now. There's apps
Mhm.
that you can follow that literally walk you through, the moves to do and how many reps. It truly is as easy as you make it. And
Mhm.
us women, we are definitely busy, and I'm not denying that. And I want to make sure women know that I'm not saying, you're just making excuses, but there's always a way to work it in. And there has to be at this point, because we want the best for them. We want their results to be amazing,
Mhm.
and we want them to maintain their muscle. Because with
Yes.
with excess, rapid weight loss, a lot of weight loss, you're going
Mhm.
to lose muscle. And
Mhm.
we want to preserve that. And like I said, you take GLP-1s out of this, you need to be doing that anyways as we age.
Absolutely. And who doesn't feel amazing after
Yeah.
a good session with weights?
Yeah, feeling stronger, right?
Happy. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
and once you get that inflammation down from the
Mhm.
GLP-1s, you're able to see progress, which is, it's so validating. There's nothing better than when you actually put in the hard work and you're seeing it happen, you
Yep.
know? And that's,
Yep.
I think, women were so used to working so hard and not getting results. And I think that's what was amazing for me when I first started GLP-1s, is I was like, oh my gosh, now I can actually visibly see in the mirror my hard work, because it was so hard,
It,
so hard to see that.
spinning your wheels is so frustrating. That's something I love. Like I say it over and over again to my clients. Peptides make your work work.
Yes, me too. I use that line all the time,
Yes.
because it
Yes.
couldn't be more true. It really couldn't. And
And
that's
it's
again with the cheating. It's like, no, no, no.
mhm.
So I really hope we're getting the message out that this is not cheating. Like, I especially to women. I just I don't know. And I think a lot of women are seeing other women that are not doing it the best way, and almost, oh well, they're not exercising and they're not eating healthy, and that's where the cheating is coming from. And I'm not even saying that that is cheating, but I think that that is where it is originating from. So
Yep.
the more women that get educated and start doing it the right way, the more we can view this as support and not quote unquote cheating.
100%, 100%. And
Right?
I think the stigma lies with GLP-1s right now,
Yeah,
but I mean, there are so many more peptides. I always say
I
like
know.
it's just the tip of the iceberg. People like
Really
GLP-1s
is.
so fun, foundational, really like many people would benefit from being on a
For
microdose of
sure.
a GLP-1, but the other peptides are exciting too. So
Oh,
walk us through your current peptide stack and the
yeah.
benefits that you're seeing from the peptides you're taking.
Yeah, so I was just telling Jennifer before we got on the call, I just finished tesamorelin, epimorelin, which is the combo. And that I wanted to take because of all the benefits with muscle. I want to not just like maintain my muscle, I want to build more, As they say, muscle burns fat. And so, combine that with microdosing, and it's just such a powerful duo. And that one's, it was just a 2 month supply. So I just finished that. And I can already see more muscle definition in my legs specifically. So I'm super excited about that. That one's done. And then I'm on NAD plus, which I love. I feel like that one is just such a good one. It's like an everyday one.
Mhm.
I mean, not you're taking it every day, but it is really good as far as like longevity and something you can take long term too. I just got back on a trip from Thanksgiving, and every time, I kid you not, every time I fly, I get sick. And I did not get sick this time, which is crazy. For me, that's a big one. So, I mean, NAD, as you know, NAD plus, it checks all the boxes. It's everything.
Yep. I'm taking mine actually right after we record. It is
Are
Friday
you?
morning. It's my
Yeah.
pre-workout. I love
There you
it.
go. Oh, it puts a
Yes.
pep in your step too, which is very nice. So that, I mean, we're not suggesting that every single woman has to be on both or, I mean, gosh, you could even be on three. I always tell women, especially for affordability, prioritize which you need more. What problems are you struggling with? And let's check that box first. Because again, realistically, not everybody can do this. But what's nice about some of these peptides is you're cycling on and off. GLP-1s, microdosing, we want to pretty much stay consistent. But the other ones we're implementing, right? We're kind of here and there. So it's a little bit nicer on the checkbook,
Yeah.
on the wallet. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now is
Okay.
microdosing and then the NAD plus.
Perfect. Good stack. And feeling good post hysterectomy. Like you said, you were on an estrogen patch. Are you
Yeah.
doing any other hormone replacement therapy at the
No,
time?
I progesterone I don't need because I don't have a uterus, and that's another one that I always recommend. Like a lot of women that are interested in HRT is a combination, but
Hmm.
mine is a little bit of a unique thing because I don't have a uterus. And then testosterone, I know I need it. I know I need it. It's just I did do it for a little bit. I did injections and that was just like ooh, that was way too much. So I want to start the cream
Hmm.
because that I just know that that will help.
Hmm.
What about you?
I do estrogen patch,
Okay.
estradiol patch
Yep.
0.25
Okay.
twice a week in my luteal
Oh.
phase. And
Oh.
then I do have a uterus, so I take 100 milligrams of progesterone once a night in my luteal phase. I did
Okay.
testosterone for a while. I did
Yeah.
injections with like a
Yeah.
horse needle, and it was just
Oh,
too
God.
much. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't do
Well,
it.
we're
I mean, I
poking
don't mind
ourselves
needles.
enough here, okay? Yeah.
I did not like that. So I
Yeah.
switched over to
Of
a
course.
cream.
Yeah.
And my testosterone levels are okay. They're like slightly low, but they're okay. So I don't really take my testosterone cream that often, but I can
Okay.
tell a difference on my estrogen patch and definitely tell a difference with my progesterone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It really, I mean, again, there's just different ways to support what we're
Yep.
going through.
Yeah,
Oh,
and those tools too. I think a lot of women just get to the point where they are like, I give up. You know, my doctor
yeah.
says I'm normal. My
So
doctor says
true.
I'm just
So
getting
true.
older. You know, like
Yep.
I guess I'm not going to sleep anymore. I have women who will
Yep.
tell me like, oh, I wake up at 3 a.m. every morning and I have since I was like 35 years old.
Yeah.
And so having people like you who are educating and passionate about reaching women in midlife to tell them, hey, standard of care is not okay. There are other
No.
options available for you is so, so important. So like I said,
And
just
and
love
I
the work you're
hope
doing.
I hope that we're really making progress here. I do.
Hmm.
I know we are. I will never forget, and I tell this a lot, when I had my hysterectomy. it was probably 2 months after is when everything boom hit me. I will never forget. I had night covered in drenched in sweat from night sweats, and I just was like, "Oh no, here we go." And from that point on, it was terrible. And I went to my doctor. Keep in mind, they have a record of my hysterectomy, and they still gave me flack for wanting estrogen. They tried to prescribe me an antidepressant. And again, I'm not knocking any of these, by the way, but I knew I didn't need it because I knew the change that happened, right?
Right,
And
right.
so antidepressant they wanted me to get, anti-anxiety, because again,
Yep.
these are the symptoms that you experience when your estrogen goes down. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. You see my record. You see that I had a hysterectomy. You see that I'm not making estrogen. Like, please just give me estrogen, right? So again, like that's where it's like, let's educate. And they just took the black box warning off of
Hmm.
it. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Right. And I think that that's going to really change the way a lot of providers are looking at
Hmm.
HRT. But I don't want women to be scared to ask. Ask the questions. If you get rejected or dismissed, keep asking. Don't give up. Don't let down. And I didn't, I did not. And I got it. I got it
You
eventually.
got it, girl.
Got it. Dang it. I
Praise
got
the
my
Lord.
patch. I got
Yes.
my patch. And it's just
Ugh.
it's amazing. So,
Mhm.
now that I have my hormone level supported, I've got all the stuff with the GLP-1s. I feel like myself again. It's as
Mhm.
simple as that, right? I
Yep,
used to
that's
have a
all we
lot.
want. We just want to feel like ourselves
Feel
again.
like
We don't
ourselves
want to be
again.
bionic women. Nope. We don't want to be like a
No,
size zero. We just want to like be
no.
healthy and happy and well adjusted in midlife.
Well adjusted. That's the thing, right? Is like let's take how we used to feel in our 20s and we can feel like that again. That's we are allowed to. And I think that's again the misconception is that it's just part of aging, it's just menopause, it's just perimenopause. No, no, no. There's tools out there to help us. And these are evidence-based, supported by science tools, just like a vitamin that you would take in your medicine cabinet.
So well said, Jackie. I just love it. Now, we're kind of wrapping up here,
Yes.
but I'm going to be inviting you back so we can have more discussions about all these
Yes.
things because
We can
it's
talk
been
about it all
so
day.
fun. Yes. And women just need this information and they
Yes.
resonate because your story is not an unusual story for women in their 40s, right? Hysterectomy, needing hormones, weight gain post hysterectomy, dealing with a business and children and house and husband. Like it's such a common story for all of us. And women do need to know, you guys, there are options available. So Jackie, if people want to learn more about you, what you do, and your coaching, where can they find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is it's Nurse Jackie. I tried to make it catchy. It's spelled differently than what most people would spell it. But yeah, I offer coaching. I'm just releasing a course now that is walks women through everything. It's called the 3-day hormone clarity guide, and that just literally is like, okay, this is what you need to know. This is how you need to ask your doctor. Very helpful to women that are just they don't even know where to start. But yeah, everything is on my page. My course is just coming out, so just bear with me on this. I know, so exciting, and coaching too. I'm just trying to build all this, while doing everything else. So that's to come. But it's my joy every time I get messages, and I'm sure you're the same way. It just lights me up. It makes me so happy when I get a message being like, "Oh my gosh," they're sharing their results. It's the best thing ever. It really is.
It definitely is. It just feels like a constant blessing. It
Yeah,
does.
it is.
Yeah.
Because we know that feeling
Me
and we
too.
all deserve it.
Yep. Okay, ladies, you heard it from Nurse Jacquie Anderson. So go give her a follow on Instagram. Her page is amazing. You guys will learn so much about peptide science there and just feeling comfortable with maybe introducing GLP-1s or peptides into your own life. So, Jackie, thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait to chat with you again.
Yay! All right, I'll see you soon.